The purpose of this video is to give you a sense of the various musical motives of which the Oiseaux Tristes is composed. So these are the words that he manipulates, and he sort of weaves through this piece of music to give it a sense of what it is. So I'm going to show you what they are, and I'm going to show you some of the ways in which he plays with it, so that as you listen to the performance of the piece, you can really listen for how these various musical motives are manipulated and changed and played throughout the piece. He begins the piece with a variety of bird call motives. He begins with this. Very simple, very slow. Then he throws this one in there. Much faster little tweeting motive. And then a repetition of the slow bird call. And then we get this. So in here we're hearing this motive. Nice and slow, a descending slow note. And then this repeated figure. I'm going to play for you just a bit at the beginning of this so that you can hear how these are all woven together at the beginning of the piece. On from there. Now, as we play through, this goes on for a little while, and then as we enter section B, he takes the same basic ideas but changes them slightly to add some tension. We end up with what sounds like this. You hear the change in tonality creates this tension while using the same melody. He also then adds in this little, it's a very fast-moving line that adds energy of the movement, but it also is based, once again, on this simple melody of the repeated figure. And then on top of that, we get a bird call. It sounds like this. Very clever use of that. In the middle section, we get this fluttering of birds. It just runs and runs and runs through there. And then later, when we have, after the fluttering in the middle, we get this section again, which sounds very much like the beginning, but you'll hear a change in the tonality. Because at the beginning, we have this going on, and this sound. After the fluttering in the middle, we get this sound. And so you hear how the change in tonality creates it's the same notes, it's the same rhythms, but there's a change in the landscape because of the shift in tonality. The end of the piece now brings those and makes them all sort of flutter around together. We get them mixed up. And at the very end of the piece, for the coda, we get this sound, which adds a bit of hopefulness to this. Nice, gentle flow. Wonderful, rich tonalities. And then my favorite note of the piece, this low, low, low notes, which reminds us that we're not done with the sorrow yet. All of these pieces are things that he weaves through. So listen for the bird calls, listen for the fluttering and how he manipulates them as you listen to Oiseaux Tristes.